It all comes down to this one race to determine the 10 participants in the Winstel chase for the Cup. We have 8 of them are pretty much locked in. We only have 2 more left to decide who will get in, who will run for the championship, and who will be left outside waiting for next year to have their moment in the sun. We do it at the last great Coliseum in the world, Bristol Motor Speedway, for 125 laps around the Coliseum to determine our winner and who's going to have a chance to be the Winstel Cup Series champion. You're watching ABN TV's live coverage of the Winstel Cup Series live from Bristol Motor Speedway, round 16 in the 24 race Winstel Cup season. Good evening. My name is Joe Cortez and People's Atrix. Joining me on the call tonight, and we've got a ripper of a race ready to go. 125 laps with these older cars generating over 700 horsepower. It's going to be a barn burner on many levels.
Absolutely. This is going to be fantastic to watch because last week we saw at Indy just the level of competency within this grid of Winstel drivers. We saw like pure green flag racing start to finish. By far the most, like in my personal experience in sim racing, it's very hard to get a stock car race to go perfectly green all the way through at Indy, but they managed it, and Bristol is going to challenge that. Bristol is a very different track. It's very small, very tight quarters. You're going to be dealing with lap traffic a lot more often, but if any drivers are going to be able to handle the much more difficult scenario of this little Coliseum we've got here today, it would be these drivers who could handle it.
It'll be these drivers who are going to challenge the high banks, trying to pick up the last win of the regular season. Plenty of storylines to consider. Starting with your regular series champion. Christian Budd, currently the points leader, can clinch regular season championship as long as he has a 12th place finish without any laps led. So if he finishes any better than that or has any laps led, he is basically a lock to walk away your regular season champion as you ride on board with him. There are other possibilities for other champions. Gabriel Mauricio could win it if Christian Budd has a terrible night. Jose Solis Jr., Emily Howe, they're not mathematically eliminated, but a lot of things have to come together perfectly for them. In all eyes will be on Christian Budd tonight, as he not only looks for another win, but he looks for the opportunity to clinch tonight's championship. Let's go ahead and talk about the chase cut line as well, Amity. There's a lot of top 8 are locked in at this point. Top 8 we know are going to run the next 7 races for the championship. The 9th and 10th ones, Parker Alexander, Tyler Head, those guys there's actually 8 through 10. They're in a pretty tough position right now.
Absolutely. They're on the outside looking in right now, and it's getting pretty close between them. Tyler Head had a really good run last week, if I recall it, either won last race or finished very well. It came out of nowhere. Not really one of the picks that I had for finishing as well as they did. Not to say anything negative towards Tyler Head, it's just one of those names that didn't really pop out to me as somebody that I was familiar with, because I'm new to the whole Winstel thing. But regardless, certainly doing well enough to gain a position in the point standings, but it's also possible it could be too little too late with Brennan McGee and Parker Alexander so far ahead. That's a pretty big gap to try and make up.
Now remember, Tyler Head will not be challenging for the championship this year. He is your returning champion. However, he's already stated that even if he makes the chase, he is out. So with a 24-point lead at the cutoff line, it's really Chris Champeau or Jonathan Hernandez or Thomas Lewandowski's gold ring to grab, knowing that Tyler Head is not going to be one of your championship contenders. Chris Champeau is 24 points out. Jonathan Hernandez still within earshot. And your dark horse tonight is going to be Tom Lewandowski, who has had a good run all season long, but just can't seem to close the door just right. Therefore, he's got to have all the stars align for him. He's got to not only win the race, he's got to lead laps, he's got to put himself in a position to win if he wants to get into the chase tonight. Those are your last 3 drivers that can get in. But again, everyone's going to be, not only are we all looking at Christian Budd trying to win this regular season championship, we're also looking at Tyler Head to see if he's going to steal that last spot. And I emphasize steal because, again, he's already said he's not going to be a contender for the Cup.
Meanwhile, we have the drivers doing some qualifying times at the moment. Emily Howe just finished a 15:06. Current fastest time is Christian Budd, naturally, sitting on the top with 14.95. So a lot of drivers are certainly throwing down some pretty quick lap times here at the moment. Taking a look here at Jose Solis Jr., who I think is going to take another shot at it. And Jonathan Hernandez here is also going to take a shot at it. Currently qualifying, trying to set the lap time. Just came out on his out lap, came across the start and finish to start the lap and slams the wall. So this lap will not complete. He's going to give it another shot. A little bit of frustration there, maybe.
As qualifying continues, we're watching along with the 20 machine, who's going to take his first attempt out there. That's Brandon Cruz in a special scheme. It's supposed to be a special scheme tonight for the Home Depot team. Something to remember about this race. This is the third of 4 crown jewel races for the Winstel Cup Series. So this is a big win for anybody who gets it. These are the races you want to put everything into and get first place because there's only 4 of them during the season. So this race means a lot more for these drivers as we watch Sean Peleg now take his qualifying lap. 1 qualifying lap for each of these drivers, and that is the time they get. Qualifying should run pretty quick tonight as we go now with the 46 of Jacob Potak out there in I forget what Dodge that is, but he's going to try his run, see if he can turn a good qualifying time.
Yeah, coming out on his out lap, going to come across the start-finish line, I believe, is now on his flying lap, actually, going to be setting a time here. Coming out on the exit, and I believe setting the time. Wow, and all the way to the top 3, a 15:01, good enough for third. Brandon McKissick also going to be setting a lap time here, coming off the edge, barely missing the wall. I think that was actually coming off of his flying lap, so now he's going to be setting his lap time, or nope, no time registered, so I think he might have clapped the wall and unfortunately invalidated his time. Will not get another attempt crossing that start-finish, so I believe that might end up ending Brandon McKissick's qualifying run, and he'll be starting towards the back of the grid. Still about a minute and 20 seconds left in qualifying. A few drivers who have not set times yet, so the timer will probably tick down, but I suppose we could probably get into the qualifying results at the moment as they stand.
What makes this track so much fun is the banking around it. Only a half mile here inside the Coliseum, but all the banks are turned turns are banked, I should say, between 24 and 28 degrees. Front stretch 5 to 9 degrees, back stretch 4 to 8 degrees. So these turns are very tight. They are very high banked and gives drivers a lot of opportunity for high stakes passing and fun driving around the track. Christian Budd will start on top of the pole. Ryan Doucette in second. Jacob Potak with his great flying lap will start third. Kyle Benson and Dylan Roberts round out your top 5. Sean Peleg, Nick Doucette, Parker Alexander, all drivers who need good finishes tonight. Philip Snipes and Emily Howe round out your top 10.
And in your top 11, we have Evan Locke in the 11th position, about a 10th off of the leader and change. Right behind him is Tyler Head, your reigning champion at the moment. Ali Osman is also in 13th, also 1/10 behind the leader. Steve Brown in 14th, Chris Champeau in 15th, Brandon Cruz in 16th, all 1/10 behind the leader. Ryan Hill in 17th, 1/10 behind the leader, almost 2/10 now. So, these times are very close together. These cars are going to be very close together on track for the entirety of this race. Brennan McGee in 19th and Corey Cook in 20th with a .237 seconds behind the leader.
Go down the rest of the Qualifying results: Mo Perry 21st, Justin Howe 22nd, Craig Lautenslav in the 99 23rd, Mike Rasmus 24th, Anthony Kroback in 25th, Brandon McKissick 26th, Jose Solis Jr. in 27th, already locked in for the chase, as well as Gabriel Mauricio in 28th. Jonathan Hernandez now looking like a dark horse, as he's got to come from 29th all the way up front to try to get into the chase. Matt Taylor top 30. Going down the rest of the group, Ken Huff 31, Corey Steinhauser 32nd, and Rory Collins rounds out your field of 33 tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway.
And all those times were registered as 15 seconds, 16 seconds behind the leader because they had not set a time. But we are currently getting ready for the race here at Bristol. This is going to be an absolute blast to watch because these are some very talented drivers. We've seen a lot of them qualify and see just how on the edge you have to be in order to try and get a fast lap around here. But trying to mark that down for 200 laps or so around Bristol and keep making those fast laps the whole time while your tires are wearing down, while your fuel is changing, your weight balance in the car, it's going to be an incredible test of strength and skill here. And it'll be fun to watch to see how people deal with the long run here, because the long run will eat tires here at Bristol.
The long run does eat tires on these very abrasive concrete turns at Bristol Motor Speedway. Look for these drivers to take at least 2, if not 3, pit stops because the tires will be so abrasive. I don't think fuel will be the issue. I think these drivers are going to start timing their pit stops around when they want to come down pit road for new tires, for new equipment, in order to manage this race from start to finish. Again, in order to finish first, you must first finish. It's a saying that we often say here on ABN, and I think a lot of these drivers are going to be trying that out the hard way, especially as they work through this very difficult track. They are rolling off pit road. We're only a couple laps away from throwing the green flag here in Bristol. So as the cars roll off pit road, 33 drivers will take the call to action. Christian Budd, who has the best chance right now of clinching the regular season championship with his pole start, has the control over the field as everyone lines up 2 by 2 behind him. Our only double file start of the night. All other restarts will be single file from this point on as you ride on board with Jacob Potek. Started third. Is currently sitting in third because he's starting third, and he will have a bird's eye view of the front as we get ready to go green flag racing. Should be only one more parade lap around this very, very small turn. Imagine putting a bunch of jet fighters inside your local arena. That's a lot like what driving a race here in Bristol is like. 700 horsepower for these 2004 era machines, and they're all about to do business here as we get ready to come to the start-finish line. Pace car this time around should make the hard left turn down pit road. There goes the first one. Is it going this time?
Yep.
Yes, it is. There goes the first racing Ford Mustang pace car, and Christian Budd will lead the first lap. Green flag flies. We are racing one of 125 laps at Bristol Motor Speedway with the Winstel Cup Series. No surprises, Christian Budd gets a big jump out front, and they are 2 by 2 by 2 behind him. First battle is going to be between the 38 and the 10, the 48 of Sean Peleg, and the 43 of Jacob Potek, 46 Jacob Potek doing business. You watch 30 of Ali Osmond trying to work his way through the field up on the high side. Really 2 lines of racing, could make it 3 if you really wanted to. The rest of the field slowly starting to file the single file racing as the 38 gets high into the wall. That could open the door for some drivers behind him. Robert Anderson needs to do a little bit of defensive driving now as the 10 and the 48 start looking to do some business around him.
This is getting very busy here, very chaotic. The drivers at the front finally getting single file and starting to organize things, but it's still double file quite a ways back into the field. You can see they're still trying to jostle for position behind. And this group of 6 right behind the number 48 of Sean Peleg, which is about Jacob Potek, Dylan Roberts, Nicholas Doucette, those kinds of drivers over there. They're trying to jostle. They're trying to get to the single file line, because running double file is going to wear your tires down a lot more. You're not taking the optimal line around the corners that will reduce that stress on the tires. So These drivers are going to want to try and get single file as soon as possible to try and extend their long run. But it seems like we're still going double file. We were single file for a little bit, but now the leaders are starting to get a little bit stacked up.
They're having fun on this track, all figuring out where they want to go, where they can go to make their tire run a lot easier, and how they want to make this run work for them. I imagine we'll be seeing pit stops sooner rather than later as we go 175 laps. I said 125 earlier, we're going 175 around this track. The battle I'm watching right now is around 12th position. That's where Tyler Head is leading Chris Champeau. Now again, Tyler Head is ahead of Champeau by 24 points as the pace car comes out for the first caution flag.
Yeah,
we'll get back to that point in just a minute, but it looks like do we have an idea of where that's at, Emily?
Sorry?
The caution flag.
Why the caution flag came out?
Yes.
I think, well, according to my event calendar here, or rather my event ticker, it seemed like Craig Lautenschlager seemed to have stopped on track. That may have been caused it, but I suppose we could take a little look at the replay, see what happened here, try and figure out what the cause of this was. Taking a look here, look at the Lautenschlager in the 99. He got dumped. Yeah, he got dumped by the number 11. I believe that was, if I am not mistaken, yeah, Proback on that. So unfortunate.
Is that what?
Was that?
So Kropak gets into the back of the 99 of Lautenschlager, and that will bring out our first caution flag of the evening. I don't think it was malicious. I don't think he dumped him on purpose. I do believe that was just a bit of a miscommunication on the racing surface. That will bring out our first caution flag tonight. Very interesting. The 46 machine was elected to jump into pit road quickly as soon as that caution flag came out. The 46 belonging to Jacob Potak. He's been having a good year so far in that part-time 46 machine. Last year finished 44th in the standings. Tonight he's having a good run and could only make it a little bit better. You see Lautenschlager now getting off pit road, and I believe that was another car that came down pit road as well. That was the 23 of Rory Collins, if memory serves correctly.
I believe that was the 34 of Corey Steinhauser. He's been in the pits for quite some time. I'm not exactly sure why. I hope it's not a severe issue. Might be, though. Kevin Huff also coming down the pits. You saw him taking some tires, so might be thinking about the short stops strategy here for today.
Short stop is always a strategy on these short tracks because you have no idea what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. You have to kind of base your entire race around the here and now. This race is not about what are you going to do for me in 175 laps from now. It's about what can you do for me this run? What can you do for me with this setup? And especially with these cars in such close proximity to one another, chaos is bound to happen no matter how you look at it. Pace car should turn its lights off this time by. We'll be back to green flag racing in just one lap, and leading them to the green flag will not be none other than the 17 of Christian Budd, who gets closer and closer to clinching the regular season championship.
Speaking of the regular championship as well, another driver certainly looking to try and take that championship away. Excuse me. Oh, my Lord, my throat's acting up and all that. Dylan Roberts. Dylan Roberts has been trying to chase down Christian Budd, who is our current points leader, as we now go back green. I wasn't paying attention.
Green flag racing on the field. Once again, Christian Budd in the lead, but immediately under fire from both the 38 of Anderson and the 10 of Ryan Doucette. Both those drivers looking to get some position. Christian Budd says, no thank you, I'm going to get a run on them. And now they're going to jockey for position behind him. 38 goes high, 10 goes low. The 48 of Sean Peleg in that mix as well. The 8 of Dylan Roberts trying to go high, see if they can get a train running on the high side. The 24 of Nick Doucette going to go low before falling back into line with everybody. I think that caution flag was a wake-up for everybody out there. They realize now they have to be smart if they want to finish this race on time, and they want to finish it in one piece on the track. The 18 of Chris Champeau now in a great position. Tyler Head came down pit road that last time by, so now he's running 32nd, 33rd. This opens the door for Champeau. If the race were to stop right now, he would be in the chase.
Another thing too, Ali Osman trying to get by the number 99 of Lautenschlager. Unfortunately got a little too high on the wall. Does it again, slams the wall. We've seen that twice now from Ali Osman, struggling to keep that car within the track limits and keep it within the walls. So Chris Champeau is probably taking that as a good sign. That means he's definitely got some level of safety. He could probably stay behind Ali Osman if he wanted to, or make the pass, and would further cement his position into the chase.
If he finishes ahead of Tyler Head. Remember, Tyler Head only needs to get a top 10 to steal that last position for the chase. Meanwhile, up front, no changes. Your top 6 continuing to run on that high side. Here comes the 5, and now the Evan Locke having some issues. He will lock him up. He will get sideways, opening the door for both Champeau and Emily Howe to take some position away. So Evan Locke in the 42, tough break for him. He'll fall a couple positions behind, and gives the way to Chris Champeau, who now is looking stronger and stronger throughout this race.
Absolutely, that was a really sketchy moment for the Haviland 42. Getting a little bit sideways through the corner and staying sideways pretty much throughout the entirety of the straightaway, not getting those rears hooked up. As soon as you lose grip in these on these tires in this car, if you start sliding around a bit, you're going to have to take some time to try and cool them down, back your pace down quite a lot in order to regain that grip back. Certainly a hard lesson to learn, but this isn't Formula Drift here. This is oval racing.
Very, very different disciplines as we watch the 19 right now of Philip Snipes in that group. Meanwhile, back up front, the 17 of Christian Budd trying a different line. He's going to go down low while everybody else runs the high side. You see the top 5 right there on the high side, except the 24 of Nick Doucette. He's going to try to get around the 8 of Dylan Roberts. I don't think Roberts wants to give away that position. He knows that he needs to have a great run tonight, but every lap he's not leading. Every lap run by the 17 is one less opportunity to try to steal that first place away for the regular season. And it doesn't help. It helps that he's locked into the playoffs. He's already in. He doesn't have to worry about it. Tonight's more about pride, saying you won a crown jewel, saying you were able to take it away and maybe even give the a little bit of a scare to the currency, to the man who's the heir apparent to the current season championship, and ultimately, taking that momentum into the playoffs.
And taking a look a little bit further back now towards the back half of the field, and 14th right now, taking a look at Philip Snipes going low in the Dodge number 19 car, below Steve Brown in the 43 Cheerios. This is really tight racing towards the back. The 37 getting alongside now. It looks like the 19 is traveling backwards through the pack, getting passed by Steve Brown, and now under attack from the 37 of Brandon McKissick. Ooh, getting a little bit too close for comfort to that 37 and losing even more time. Now losing a spot to the 29 and the 46, dropping way back.
What to remember about this Winstel Cup series is that they run a series their series is basically based off the actual 2004 Nextel Cup season. So all the paint schemes you see are historically accurate to the ones they ran back in 2004. The rule book is the same. So this is really a throwback league in every sense of the imagination, which makes for some very fun racing as we continue to run on lap 32 of 175. You see some battles there in the back row. Let's go ahead and jump over to the 18 of Champeau, who's now trying to fight off the 42 of Evan Locke, the 30 of Ali Osman, and the 6 of Mike Rasmus. But look who's behind him. Look who's not terribly far behind. The 4 of Tyler Head has worked his way back up from the back of the field, now sitting around in the top 15, which is bad news for the 18 of Champeau. He needs to have a great finish tonight, and that cannot include Tyler Head starting to creep up on it.
Yeah, Tyler Head's going to have to make it past the 99, though, which is an injured car. It's stuck in the middle of things. You can see the 99 working behind the 29 and the 46, and now the number 4.
of
The
Tyler
99
Head.
being involved in an incident earlier today and having some damage here, so it could slow these drivers down a little bit. It could slow Tyler Head down on his way towards, 3 wide. I'm going to interrupt myself right there. We had 3 wide here for a position. We still have 3 wide. The number 6 slowing up the 3 on the outside. There's still 3 wide. They're going 3 wide multiple corners through Bristol.
These guys are fearless. They know what's on the line tonight, and they're not going to give an inch. Finally, the 46 drops back. We go 2 by 2, and all eyes are now on Tyler Head, who's only 4 cars away from the 18 of Champeau. Champeau trying to play spoiler tonight, trying to do everything he can to win that last spot into the playoffs. But Tyler Head does not want to make that happen. 3 wide again between the 46, the 37, and the 6 of Mike Rasmus. They will get to their senses. They'll go 2 wide this time by, but they keep fighting. They keep battling amongst each other. Now the 29 has got the advantage. 18 starting to drift back a little bit. Makes contact with the 37. Side by side into turns 1 and 2 once again. And I think the 18, the pressure's starting to break for him as he goes backwards. He's gotten passed by 2 cars. Now 3. Tyler Head beside him. I think that pressure is really starting to hurt him now as he's going to get passed by the person who's sitting in 10th place in points.
That is absolutely incredible racing. I don't think I have seen closer racing at Bristol not end up in a wreck. This is incredible skill on display from all of these drivers currently on screen right now. They were going 3 wide multiple times, and as I say that, Mike Rasmus in the number 6 Viagra car getting into the wall a little bit. But still, no caution. We've been having some very close, hard fighting throughout this pack, and we've only seen 1 caution so far today. 42 laps out of 175. Just an incredible display of skill and dedication.
Incredible display of skill, absolutely, all these drivers, as the 4 now starts to continue to charge his way up front through the field. Up front, not a whole lot of change. Christian Budd still your leader. Ryan Doucette has now moved up to 2nd. Nick Doucette in the 24 in 4th. Parker Alexander, who can clinch his playoff spot tonight with a strong finish, battling the 8 of Dylan Roberts for position out there, using his teammate in the 24 to give him some momentum out there. Doucette and Parker fighting Dylan Roberts. Again, Dylan Roberts is locked in. He has nothing to lose at this point. Emily Howe behind him. Emily Howe's locked in. It's a battle between old school Hendricks and old school DEI as the 5 Parker Alexander makes a bold move to get in front of the 8. He'll get in front of the 24 as well. Sparks to mark him 2 spots forward. As we continue to race, he'll move up to position number 4 as the 8 and 24. This is a battle we've called over the ages, and it's not cooling down now.
The 8 and 24 going at it door to door at Bristol multiple times. This is not an unfamiliar sight, neither in Winstel nor in the actual Nextel series. The 8 and 24 going at it with each other. But here certainly showing a display of skill here as the 24 now drops back 2 positions, drops back behind Emily Howe with the Napa number 15 now dragging back behind the 8, and we now have a yellow flag.
Second caution flag of the night. We'll figure out what exactly that is for. So that caution flag, however, benefits almost everybody in the field as they are getting ready to, as we're starting to think about pit stops. So expect everybody to come down to the attention of their crew this time by, as my partner will look for wherever exactly that caution flag happened. Everyone should come down to the attention of their crew this time around. And Amity, I think you've caught up with the incident.
I think I might have found it. I'm not totally certain though, because it's not really giving me a specific driver that might have crashed. It just mentions that the yellow flag came out. Oh, I think I found something here. I see a bunch of smoke.
And where there's smoke, there's wrecks.
Why do I see smoke, but I don't see the car that caused the smoke?
We'll catch up to that in about a second. Anyways, I was mentioning pit stops will be a very important feature right now. Here we go. The 18 was involved in that one. Chris Champeau could not afford to get in a worse incident, but here he goes, making contact with the 11 machine. That'll dump the 18 into that inner ring there and bring out the caution flag for the 2nd time in a row. That is not what the 18 needed.
Yeah, that was the very last thing that the 18 really wanted to see, but going 3 wide and trying to fit it into a 2 wide position is just not going to happen, and unfortunately spat him out on the inside ring, causing this yellow flag to come out. But not all is lost. Bristol is one of those tracks where resiliency really tends to pay off, so as long as the car is still rolling and still moving, there's still an opportunity for Chris Champeau to make up the positions he might have lost through that wreck and get back to where he needs to be. There's still possibilities here.
Everybody on pit road looking for 4 tires, a full tank of virtual Sunoco racing fuel. The 17, the 10, the 38, first 3 off. Then the 8 will beat the 15 and the 29. And I don't see the 10 out there at all. Looking for the 10 to figure out where, sorry, the 4, figuring out where the 4 got off in this mix. It might be one of the further cars behind. He's going to get off behind the 37 of McKissick. So once we see how everything cycles out, I'm curious to where the 4 is going to sit. Again, all he needs is a top 10 finish to clinch his spot into the playoffs without the chance of winning a championship. So the 4, all eyes are on, or my eyes are on him right now to figure out what he's going to do and where he's going to finish this race, and more importantly, where the 18 is going to finish.
Yeah, currently what my ticker is saying is that he's in 9th. That seems to be just about correct. So currently sitting in 9th, exactly where Tyler Head wants to be and exactly where Chris Champeau did not want him to be. But there is still quite a lot of racing left to go to change the circumstances of things. But at this current moment, Christian Budd's still leading this race, having done a phenomenal job qualifying, staying on top of the pole, and now leading quite a few laps of this race. So once again, I think this will be another example of Christian Budd's dominance throughout the regular season. But certainly Tyler Head trying to make a challenge for it.
17 of Christian Budd has led every lap so far. He's led all 53 laps of 175, which gets him closer and closer to that regular season championship, which would give him a huge boost going into the playoffs in 1 week's time. 7 races in the playoffs, and it'll all begin next week for the Winstel Cup Series. Green flag about to fly. The 17 of Budd leading him to it. Green flag flies. Kyle Benson now on the back bumper of the 17. Can the M&M's machine challenge at 17 for the lead? So far, Christian Budd getting a huge jump on everybody. Now here comes the 8 of Dylan Roberts. Roberts will go side by side with the 38. The 15 of Emily Howe trying to come along for the ride as Jose Solis tries to hold off his position in P4. With new tires, we are back to side-by-side racing.
Incredibly tight quarters here. The 37 caught in the middle between Emily Howe and Nicholas Doucette. Figures itself out just a little bit. Meanwhile, up ahead, there's some clearer pastures up ahead. There's just a 38 and a 24. Originally going side by side, but they seem to be going about double file throughout these corners, with the 38 getting the better of the run on the outside, having been running the outside on these corners. So you can see the 29 of Jose Solis Jr. trying to get away past the 38 M&M's car of Kyle Benson. So, like, my brain stopped working for a second there.
It's okay. I got you covered. No worry. You focus
Appreciate
on the cameras. I'll cover the
I got
action.
you. Yeah.
So 38 of Benson trying to hold off everybody, but that eye line may not work for him the way he expects. The 29 of Jose Solis now getting on the inside, and good dispatch of 38 this time by. Meanwhile, the 8 of Dylan Roberts, who was challenging for position number 2, he ended up dropping back through the field, went from 3rd all the way to about 7th right now, behind Brandon McKissick, Nick Doucette, and Jose Solis Jr. Emily Howe in the same predicament as well. And here comes on the outside the 51 machine, with the marathon machine trying to do everything he can to get up front and start trying to challenge for some laps. And don't forget the 46 of Jacob Potak. He started 3rd on the field. He had some difficulty because he decided to come down early for a pit stop, and now he's back on the chase, looking to solidify himself in the top 10.
Yeah, it seems to be like that short stop might have been a pretty good idea. It's got maybe not as fresh the tires as everybody else does, but certainly because of that recent caution that we've had, put him in at least a good enough position to be able to gain some position from the last pit stop there, as far as I could tell. So still doing pretty good for himself, sitting there in the position he's in there, way back in 8th. The 38 still running high towards the top end of the field, though, still running that high line right against the wall, with everyone else seeming to run low. It's an interesting differential and strategy here. And I wonder if you have any insight on what the potential advantages could be at this point in the race if you're at the front of the field choosing low or high.
At this point, it's about where you're most comfortable on the track, where you can carry the most momentum, and it's not uncommon to see drivers choose one or the other. The high side carries a lot of momentum and speed through those turns, but the low side is always the fastest way throughout the turns. So it's really where your car is most comfortable, where you feel like you can carry off the most speed, and where you have the advantage, where you can maintain an advantage over the other driver. Both the 17 and 38 now trying it high. The other driver trying it high is going to be that 19 machine of Philip Snipes. He's found his way right in the middle of the pack, challenging in that top 10. He's right on the outside of Ali Osman in the 30 machine, trying to figure out what he's going to do. Then there's the 4 of Tyler Head, currently sitting in 9th place. If the race were to end now, he would get the 10th and final spot in the chase for the Winstel Cup. Right now, Philip Snipes can kind of mess with that a little bit if he can get around the 4, but so far happy to be running in the top 10.
19 doing a good run so far. I believe got passed by Tyler Head, who went on the inside on Philip Snipes. As we see a similar situation playing out just a further along. That's the 37 of Brandon McKissick, and I believe the number 8 of Dylan Roberts. So they're going side by side here trying to figure out positions, but it seems as though Dylan Roberts might have gotten the best of the 37 and is now pulling ahead, with the 37 dropping back just a smidge.
But Dylan Roberts already locked into the chase, now looking just for some momentum going into the chase next week, trying to win himself one of the crown jewels. You can tell this is a half-mile track because we are counting out the laps quickly. Right now scoring lap 72 of 175, just over 100 left to go. It sounds like a very long time, but you got to consider these drivers are running 15 to 18 seconds around this track, which means there's not any time at all. You have no time to waste if you are one of these drivers trying to get into the chase, or your driver trying to figure it out. As we now have another caution flag out for the 43.
It's the 43 of Steve Brown, sideways, perpendicular to the racing surface. Probably a little bit of a slip up on the straightaway, or maybe even the exit, trying to catch it, is what my guess would be. But didn't quite see that on the camera, so we'll have to take another look at what happened exactly here with Steve Brown. If we take a look at the replay here, coming around through turn 3 and 4, I believe it is. And coming on the exit, gets dumped by the number 2. Probably accidental, more than likely. I think the 2 just got a little bit wide and wasn't expecting the car to go up as far up the track as he did, and unfortunately, the 43 was already there, not clear, and getting spun around on the quarter.
Alex Milanix just had a great run coming out of 3 and 4, and I think the 43 was just not ready for that. Or his spotter didn't mention that he had traffic up there, and that will bring out the 3rd caution flag of the night. Pit road getting to be busy once again as everybody comes to the attention of their crews, looking for the same thing probably. 4 tires, full tank of fuel. They will go around that. The pit stalls on this track, this track is so small. Pit stalls are on both sides of the track. You commit to turns 3 and 4, go in, and then you've got to go around 1 and 2 on that inside lane, on the apron of the track, in order to continue down pit road and to your stall. The 17 makes it in, the 46 makes it in. It's going to be fuel, looks like, for the 17, maybe no tires. But no, it is two tires. 2 tires for the 17, 2 tires for the 36 McKissick, and the 17 will continue to lead. No changes up front, but a lot of tire strategy now as the 17 takes 2 tires. I believe the 37 McKissick took 2 tires. The 24 and 8 may have done the same strategy. Very, very bold move this late in the race.
Very true. It's a very interesting decision to make, but I think it was kind of a forced decision from Christian Budd's perspective, because if I was in his shoes, we just recently had a pit stop. The left sides are probably fine. You probably want to take some outsides, though. We haven't really gotten far enough along into the run where both tires really make sense, and I think a lot of drivers towards the front end of the field probably thought the same way. There's just not enough wear on the inside tires to justify swapping them out yet. That being said, though, there is some rationality towards maybe picking 4 if you're at the front of the field, because you might slot back a couple positions, and track position is very important in oval racing. We all know this, but gaining enough grip on the new tires on all 4 corners, it could mean the difference. But as we saw here, most of the front end of the field, they decided to go along with the leader. Probably hoping that Christian Budd would have taken 4, but it seems everybody is about on the same strategy, at least towards the front 5, the front 6.
New tires is not a bad strategy to take, especially if you're taking the right side tires. Those tires are going to help you keep the grip from that outside lane and prevent you from hitting the wall. That being said, though, if some other drivers have 4 tires, they're going to be grippier, and they may end up being faster on the long run. So I think a lot of these drivers not betting on the long run. They'll take 4 next time by, assuming another caution will come out before this race is over. Less than 100 laps to go at this juncture, and it will be Christian Budd continuing to lead, trying to go pole to pole. Green flag back in the air. McKissick now on the back bumper of the 17 of Christian Budd, but nobody has challenged the king so far. Here comes McKissick. McKissick wants that lead. He wants to go first thing, changes the lines. The 4 goes around. Trouble for the 4, and that is good. Oh, trouble for the 29 too. Jose Solis, the 46. Tyler Head, all involved. Caution flag back out.
Oh, that is tremendously devastating to Tyler Head. He is now right at the back of the field as a direct result of that. That was horrifying to watch. Tyler Head's been doing a fantastic job staying towards the front end of the field, but now paying the price for essentially jockeying for that track position. Man, that is such an unfortunate circumstance. We'll have to try and take a look at what exactly caused this to happen, but not at all what Tyler Head wanted to see, but certainly what Chris Champeau was hoping for.
Major front end damage on the number 4 machine. Let's see if we can get another look at it. He was side by side with Dylan Roberts coming off of turn number 2. And it looks like the 8 just accidentally got into the 4, spun him around, puts him head first into the wall, tail first into the wall, and he does have some front end damage on that number 4 machine. We'll take another look, this time off the 4 of Tyler Head. As you see him get off turns 3 and 4, I think his spotter just didn't tell him he was not clear on the 8 from the 8 on the outside, and that just spun him around. Collects the 38 of Roberts as well, and that is going to bring out caution number 4 for the night. Now the question we have to ask is, how much damage does Tyler Head have on that car? How much repair is he going to need, and how does that change the complexities of this final playoff spot?
Yeah, that's going to change the complexion quite a lot for the final playoff spot heading into the chase next week. Definitely not what Tyler wanted to happen there, but unfortunately that's kind of how it is at Bristol. You get so close to each other and try and get each other clear, and unfortunately there was just enough of the front and rear bumper overlapping to throw him around. And big unfortunate scenario, gonna go in and try and fix some of that damage and try and maintain some level of pace with the rest of the field. But as I mentioned earlier, with the 99 of Laugenslaughter, these types of things will happen. But as long as you stay out on track and keep running, sometimes miracles do happen. So Tyler Head isn't necessarily completely out of it, but this certainly eats at his chances and his odds of actually being able to pull into the chase.
This also opens up the door for Chris Champeau or the 18 machine. Remember, the 18 was the first one on the outside looking in. Other ones from the outside looking in who have not been mathematically eliminated are Jonathan Hernandez and Thomas Lewandowski. I do not believe Lewandowski is on track tonight, so we can call his chances done. So Jonathan Hernandez still has a chance, but he has to get through the 18 of Chris Champeau first. And seeing the damage on that number 4 machine, we know that Tyler Head will be down 3, maybe 4 laps before he gets off pit road. That benefits the 18's chances incredibly tonight. Now the 18 just has to have a strong finish in that top 15 group, and he could very well punch his way into the chase. So Christian Budd continues to lead. No changes there. McKissick in second. It'll be Nick Doucette in third. In fourth belongs to the 51 machine? I can't quite see it from here. And Emily Howe rounds out your top 5. Nobody's been able to challenge Christian Budd. I think at this point, it's safe to call him your regular season champion as the pace car makes a hard left turn down pit road. One more time. He will lead them to the green flag, and wow! He just gets out of the way, and he is flanked by the 51 and the 37. The 17 is out of the lead, and he is dropping fast through the field.
Wow, the 17 dropping way back. I can't tell what exactly happened there, if it was a missed shift or just wasn't paying attention or something, but drops way back from the lead. Very uncharacteristic for Bud in the number 17 car, but the number 37 of Brandon McKissick now inheriting the lead at the moment with a 51 trailing just behind, and Nicholas Doucette just behind him as well. This is a very interesting situation to have happen because I think Brandon McKissick, who was in second behind Bud, almost passed Bud before reaching the start-finish line, and I think that could have caused a penalty to arise if he had made the pass before start-finish. Thankfully, I don't think that was the scenario that actually played out, but regardless, we are once again under caution, it seems.
Caution flag number 5 coming out on the night, and as we've often said in broadcast, cautions breed cautions. You might have heard that on Fox or on NBC, but that's my line. I made that up first. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. That was my saying. Cautions breed cautions, and the 37 will be the benefactor of that caution as he will retain the lead. Well, your only lead change of the night, the 37 from the 17.
Try and see if I could find out where it is. Once again, I don't have it on the event ticker, what actually happened here. So, oh, there we go. We got the 19 going a little bit sideways. And I think the yellow flag may have been called a little bit prematurely because it seemed as though the 19 was just wrecking and was going to lose it. I can understand why the yellow might have been called. You know, the 19 was practically sideways. It looked like it was going to cause a bigger incident, but managed to correct himself and keep it rolling. So I think this is one of those yellows that could have happened but didn't.
The 19, I think this was the right call, was to throw the caution flag because of where the 19 started spinning. Great save on his part, able to recover that car quickly and get it back going the right way. But considering where he was at in the middle of that group, considering he was at right in the middle, it could have been a much bigger accident. So throwing the caution flag at the time was the right call. Although slow everybody up and stack them up one more time as we get ready to go green flag racing once again. McKissick will be your leader, the 51 of Hill in second, the number 24 of Nick Doucette in third, and the man who was leader, the 17 of Christian Budd, will straight start position number 4. Emily Howe, the 15, restarts position number 5th, and then we see some faces that are very familiar to our broadcast team. The 6 of Mike Rasmus, the 40 of Gabriel Mauricio, who won your season opening race at Daytona to start this entire campaign. He may not win tonight, but he is very much locked into your chase for the Winstel Cup.
Something I noticed, by the way, which is something I actually very recently learned, was I saw Emily Howe you saw her kind of weaving very low on the track between the apron and the track surface, and something that I actually learned about these cars is that that is a really effective way of how to warm your tires. For some reason, the tires really like when you peel off the apron and then back onto it and stuff like that when you're weaving the tires. It warms them up really nicely and keeps the grip levels good, so that is just something I noticed. It's something I know about these particular cars. I know it was kind of an issue, I think, in the upper echelon of the iRacing Pro Syndicate, like what do you call it, like NASCAR, like the e-NASCAR thing? Yeah, that thing. But they were also doing that and seemingly have patched that out, but it seems as though the Gen 4s still seem to have that scenario running with them.
We'll talk about that during our next caution flag if we have another one. Tyler Head now moving his way up to 19th. Beck got his laps back, so he is in a good position once again. Not too much damage on that car probably. We'll have to see what happens as we get ready to go green flag racing. So the 37 of Brandon McKissick will be your leader when we get going green flag racing. The 51 of Hill will be position number 2. And as we get ready to go, Ryan Hill in the 51. He started 17th, now trying to challenge for the lead. Green flag flies, and McKissick has a great, no, it's been called off?
I think it was called off because the pace car disappeared.
Well, that would be a very unfortunate situation. With the
Yeah,
pace
it was
car,
kind of
just deciding not to do his job anymore.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering what was going on there. Very weird, but yeah, the pace car was in front of Brandon McKissick, and then all of a sudden it kind of just wasn't. So I'm not exactly sure what happened here. Maybe there was a little bit of disorganization in the rest of the field, and they decided to throw another yellow, or something like that, throw some extra laps, but didn't have the time. I'm not exactly sure what would have caused the pace car to disappear like that. Very strange circumstance, but we are going around for another couple caution flags while we get the grid ordered.
You know, sometimes when you're driving the pace car, you just, you need a break from your own troubles. You need.
Yeah.
The nice thing with this race is there have been races we've called here where the obvious laps leader has been the pace car. This is not the case here tonight, and I think the pace car just wanted to make sure that it didn't pick up those 5 additional points for leading a lap, and didn't get the 5 additional points for leading the most laps on this track. So good on the pace car driver for considering everybody else in the field, but it does look like there was a little bit of confusion on everybody's parts when the pace car decided, I'm not going to, you guys figure it out, I'm just going to get out of the way. And so we're going to rack them and stack them one more time. Jose Solis Jr. will restart on the inside, being a lap down, and we will get ready to go green flag racing one more time. McKissick will be your leader. Ryan Hill in second. Nick Doucette in third. Christian Budd, your pole sitter, will start position number 4, and I believe it's Emily Howe restarting in the top 5. Right now, as it stands, I believe the 18 has the advantage over Tyler Head. Tyler Head restarting 22. Champeau starting in the top 15. So not a great gap. We'll have to see exactly how that settles out here as we get ready to go green flag racing. But if I am the 18 right now, I'm just a little nervous knowing that I've got to race that much harder. Brandon McKissick gets the green flag this time by, and we are back to green flag racing as he leads Hill into turn number 1 and 2. No problem for Hill to get around with him. Here comes it from 24, 17, all running in line. Everybody getting around Jose Solis Jr. without any issues. And we are back to green flag racing on lap 97, 98 of 175.
Cars are just ripping through the track right now. You can see just how many times the camera had to shift around just to try and keep up with the front of the field. But taking a look back towards the rear end of it, I think I almost saw them going 3 wide back here. It's a big gaggle of cars. You can see the 29 struggling to try and get out of the way, as well as the number 11 with heavy damage as well. The 33 trying to navigate all this traffic and try and get by with the 48 strong in tow. It's a very big gaggle of cars towards the back end of the field as they're going 3 wide to try and navigate around the 29.
And the driver in the middle of all that melee right now is the 18 of Champeau. He's trying to get around the 48 of Sean Peleg. No dice so far as the 42 of Evan Lock in. Now he gets sideways. Turns as he wanted to. Great save, but that is going to cause some wear on those tires and a couple positions as well. So now, moving the 18 back.
The 33!
The 33 now goes spinning into the inside wall. Almost barrel roll side by side by side. He will spin it around and bring out the caution flag once again. The 33 machine bringing out that caution flag. You saw that incident live right here on ABN. Tyler Murray bringing out the 6th caution flag of the night.
I think that was a very unfortunate incident. That was a fantastic save from, I believe it was the 19, or not the 19. I can't remember what car
18.
it was.
There was 18 of Champeau that had that great save.
Yeah, it was a fantastic save.
And then almost lost it again when the 33 went spinning right near him. So now, Caution flag comes out one more time. We should have at least one more pit stop, 4 tires. Everybody should come down this time. Let's watch what happened with the 33 right here. As we see the 18 behind him, it looks like the 33 and 18 just got together coming off of that turn. No, the 33 hit the wall. The 33 hit the wall, and then the 48 acted like a pick to send him end over end, or nose over tail, I should say, into that inside wall. Not a ton of damage, even though he made contact with both walls, but that will still put a hamper on his night. And that also hurt Chris Champeau quite a little bit as well, as he no longer has a big gap between him and Tyler Head.
Yeah, pretty significant incident there, slamming the wall that hard, and basically Simon Peleg acting as more of a kind of a inanimate object to roll off of rather than anything else. Just an unfortunate scenario for Peleg to be in, but probably barely any damage on the front end of that 48 car as a result of that. Just the 33 already having that momentum going sideways already, but unfortunate scenario for the number 33 as we start seeing all these drivers take some pit stops. But I think the top end of the field decided to stay out here, and probably a good scenario. They probably think there's going to be another yellow soon, so probably a worthwhile decision here. I don't think any of the people who've gone in for new tires, new fuel, are really going to get a long enough run to be able to chase the top end and compete for that race lead. But anything can happen. We could see also the reverse play out where we do get another short run interrupted by a caution.
The 37 McKissick will stay out. The 24 of Nick Doucette, Ryan Hill in that 50 machine will stay out as well. Emily Howe in the 15 electing to not get service this time by, so still plenty of drivers with different equipment on different strategies right now. I think these drivers up front are betting on the short-term run, thinking that if they get a run now, if they get a short run now, they'll be able to come down later, or at least preserve what they have to make it a very, very last stop and force everybody to come back down pit road. The drivers you did see come down pit road that last time by, which I believe included Bud and Robertson Company, I think they're betting on a longer run, or at least betting that, hey, if we come down now, we don't have to worry about coming in when the leaders do. We can run our own race, we can run our own strategy, and we'll be fine. We don't have to worry about them. We can run how we want to and let them worry about how they're going to finish this race on their equipment. Pace car will make the hard left turn down pit road this time by. Lights are off, and McKissick for the second time will lead them, the third time, will lead them to the green flag. McKissick, the only lead change of the night, going to the 37, will ride along board with the 24 of Nick Doucette as we get ready to go green flag racing. Here goes the pace car. Here goes the 37. When we get the green, the field will be in this command. Green flag flies, and we are back to racing. The number 37 McKissick goes low. He's got 2 lines of cars to deal with as everybody gets scattered, scrambled, and covered all through this track. And more trouble on the track way back in the field. I'm not sure what that involved.
I think it involved the 32. I saw just a very small glimpse of the Tide Downey car going sideways. A special livery, actually, one of many special liveries here tonight. I believe the Tide scheme will run here in New Hampshire. New Hampshire also marking the final race for Ricky Craven with PPI Motorsports. But yeah, that's the car that I think I saw going sideways just in the back end of the picture before it switched over to the next camera over to follow the leaders. So we'll have to take a look at exactly what happened here very shortly. Let's see if we can get a look.
I think it all starts around the 19 of Philip Snipes. We're seeing as the restart goes, they'll dive into turns 1 and 2. And oh no, it's the 5. The 5 of Parker Alexander, another driver on the bubble, gets spun. It looks like he took a couple of drivers with him. I believe that was the 25 of Alex Bates, maybe? Anyways, the 19 gets into the 18, and now we've got 2 bubble drivers who are in a bad way.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate scenario to be in right there. Taking another look at it, I believe, here. I think this was a little bit later. Yeah, that was a little bit later.
Let's try again. Let's try riding along board the 18. Because I really want to see what happened with the 18 when all of that took place. Again, the 5 of Parker Alexander, the 18 of Champeau, all drivers at that cutoff line. Parker Alexander currently sitting in 9th, not 100% safe to get in. Tyler Head, of course, in 10th, and Chris Champeau in 11th. And I think the 5 gets spun by himself in that one. I think he
actually gets rear-ended. He gets rear-ended by the car behind, and then ends up spinning around. The 18 on screen right now. Gets plows into the 19. Yep, that's going to cause a little bit of damage. Hopefully not too much because there was still forward momentum in the 19. Didn't seem like there was too much of a speed differential, so it might not be a whole lot of damage. But I suppose we could take a look at it and see how that car looks from the front end, if we can get a front end shot here.
Well, the 5 and the 18 both got some damage as a result.
Yeah.
You see the 18 has a bent-in nose, and when the nose scoops in like that, that acts like it acts almost like a plow attachment on a truck. You know, a plow just collects everything in front of it. Well, the 18 now has that plow in front of it, and instead of just catching snow or debris or whatever's on it, it's going to catch air. And unfortunately, that's going to cause some more wind resistance, which could push him back through the field a little further and hamper his chances of getting in to the playoffs. We'll have to see exactly how that happens. I'm also worried about the 5 of Parker Alexander as well. He was the driver that started this incident. He was one who was involved to begin with, and now he could have some damage that could hamper his chances. He came in to this race sitting 9th in points, so if something bad happened to him, if he were to go off early, that could effectively end his chances at the playoffs. So all those questions will be answered in the next 50 or so laps as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Once again, the 37 of Brandon McKissick will lead the 24 of Nick Doucette and the 57 of Ryan Hill. 51 of Ryan Hill. Emily Howe and Gabriel Mauricio now find themselves in the top 5. Jonathan Hernandez also on the outside looking in. Could leapfrog everybody if he gets a good enough run. Green flag flies, and McKissick once again leads them to the green flag. We are back racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway 2x2. They go through the turn. McKissick has a great run, but everyone behind him hungry for a win. Look at Mauricio, all down low. He won the opening race of the season. Now he says, I want to win the last race of the regular season and position myself for a good run in the playoffs.
Another good start I saw on the static cams. We saw them going 4 wide into turn 1. Somehow managed to make it work. I have no idea how. Just pure skill and determination trying to get through the corners towards the mid-pack of the field. But as we see now, the 51 are trying desperately to catch up to Nick Doucette and Brandon McKissick, who seem to be just absolutely flying away at the moment, with the number 15 of Emily Howe just behind Hill in the 51. And then just behind her, there's a bit of a gaggle of cars going 2 wide here. That's Ali Osman and I believe Evan Locke there, just behind, trying to jostle for position.
Up front, this is 37 and 24 continuing to battle back and forth. The 24 keeps getting up to that quarter panel, the back quarter panel of the 37, but McKissick just has too much momentum from running that intermediate line, holding off the 24 of Doucette. Ryan Hill can do nothing but watch them fight back and forth. But remember, the more fighting they do, the better it is for everyone behind them, as they now have to take speed off and they have to do more to defend, while everyone else can just run straight speed laps around them. Emily Howe in 4th, and I believe that is going to be Ali Osman it's going to be the one, Jonathan Hernandez, now moving up into the top 5. Hernandez was one of the drivers who could have a chance of locking into the playoffs tonight, and with the 18 and 4 having some serious damage, this could be Jonathan Hernandez's moment.
Absolutely, Jonathan Hernandez kind of just snuck into the picture in the late stages of this race here. And as those leaders keep battling with each other, we're going to start seeing them slow each other up towards the long run of the race. I think there were a few people who were maybe counting on a yellow flag popping out sometime around now, or maybe in the next few laps. But if things keep going the way they're going, it doesn't look like we might have that. It might be the 37 and 24 at least for a long stretch, for the next period of time, will be basically controlling this race.
Nick Doucette locked in. He came in position number 7. At this point, the 37 of McKissick, I believe has been mathematically eliminated from the standing, from the chase. I will double check that. But McKissick, I'll double check that because I don't know if McKissick is mathematically eliminated or not. The 37's had a great year, up and down, picked up a win earlier this season, and now he's got a chance to pick up win number 2. Will it be enough, though, to keep him in the playoffs?
What we could do is we could turn this off. If it would work.
Oh, McKissick is mathematically eliminated. He came into the race 34th in points, despite his 1 win and 2 top 10s. So at this point, McKissick's just running for pride. At this point, he's running for pride. He's running to get locked into the top 35 for points next year, so he can compete once again without having to worry about qualifying in to the Cup Series. And you love to see it. You love to see competitors continue to run as hard as they can for pride, for the love of racing, for the love of getting out there. So good for Brandon McKissick. Running is where he is at. Now let's watch the 1, the 30, the 40, and the 42 all doing a little business behind Emily Howe. Jonathan Hernandez needs to defend this position if he wants to have a shot of getting into the playoffs. Ali Osmond, though, very, very strong, knows what they're doing, and now has a chance of getting into the top 5.
Got this little gaggle of cars racing pretty tightly here, just about as tight as the leaders are at the current moment. They've been too wide, double file for a little bit, now going too wide just at the front. Lots of battling going on between Ali Osman, the number 1 of Jonathan Hernandez, the number 40 of Gabriel Mauricio, and the number 42 of Evan Locke. And I think this might be joined by Christian Budd. We saw Christian Budd leading quite a few laps at the beginning of this race. Quite early on, pretty much controlling the field, but getting one start wrong and now having to try and work his way back. Currently sitting in 8th, falling down from the pole and trying to work his way back, but it's going to be a little bit difficult with these drivers ahead of him all fighting for position.
So Jonathan Hernandez now starting to lose steam. He got passed by Osmond. He got passed by Mauricio. Now trying to get dispatched by Evan Locke, Christian Budd, all trying to get around him. I think Hernandez's time is coming to an end. He's going to need some tires, and he's going to need them fast if he wants to stay competitive in that pack. Meanwhile, Tyler Head is leading Chris Champeau back in the around 14th, 15th position. So Tyler Head still trying to make his way into the field. He's now up to 12th, leaving Champeau by 2 positions. Christian Budd also starting to work his way up through the field behind the 38 machine. This is going to be a finish for the ages.
Now we're seeing everybody stack up behind Simon Peleg, who gets a little bit wide and into the wall there. Kind of gets out of the way, but the 38.
And I wasn't handsome, but I think he went too wide there, but that's okay. Again, Sean Peleg's already in the playoffs. All he knows now is he just has to have a good, relaxed evening, and he can definitely worry about the playoffs for the next 7-8 races. Evan Locke, the 42, getting passed by the 17 of Christian Budd, and I think Christian Budd's going to get around the 29 of Jose Solis, a lap car. So now the 17 just has to worry about 2 contenders in front of him. The 38 machine that belongs to Kyle Benson and the 40 of Gabriel Mauricio all stand in his way from walking away with the win tonight. Caution out for the 8th time.
Exactly sure where this happened. I'm going to have to take another look. Once again, nothing on the event ticker, so I'm going to have to try and scope it out. But yet again, another yellow flag pulled out for this Bristol race here. I'm going to see if I can find it somewhere. Oh, Sean Peleg causing the incident, getting high and wide into the wall, and number 2 getting caught up in it and getting spun on the car on the bottom. I think how that happened there.
So Alex Kolonix will be involved for the second time tonight in an incident. Let's see if we can get a replay of that. Starting with the 48, who we know has some right side damage up there. Did he get too high in the wall? Yes. And forced the 2 to try to hit the brakes and got a little loose, a little late. Gets to the 12 of Mo Perry and the 43 machine of Steve Brown. So both those drivers, little damage, not too much. We'll go back to green flag racing in just a moment as everybody coming down pit road to the attention of their crews for what should be tonight's final pit stop. So as we transition into the playoffs starting next week, the chase for the Nextel Cup starts at another short track. This New Hampshire Motor Speedway, a very, very short, very flat track out in the middle of New Hampshire, of New England. That'll be a very interesting race. You can catch that here on ABN, 7:45 Eastern, 4:45 Pacific. Then we go to Dover before we go to our first long track, the Talladega Super Speedway on August 25th. Kansas Speedway will be our host on September 15th. Atlanta Motor Speedway on September 27th. Phoenix Raceway in September 29th. Darlington, October 6th. And we finish the season at Homestead Miami Speedway in South Florida for the finale on October 13th, 2024. And again, you can catch all those races right here on ABN1, twitch.tv/ABN Esports. So new leader on the track right now, it will be the 10 machine of Ryan Doucette, a part-time racer here on the track. You might have heard that name before. He's actually well known for running in the eNASCAR Coke Series. So Pro Series driver running here in Winstel tonight only increases the quality of drivers on the track. I'm not sure if the 19 is in second or if it's a lap down. Amity, what do you have on the 19?
The 19 is currently sitting in second position, actually. You were correct right around there. Unfortunately, not quite running so hot in the championship points. I think you mentioned earlier in the broadcast that I don't think he's actually running for the full entire season, but has had 14 starts and hasn't had nearly as much success as he might have wanted. But at least for now in the Bristol race here tonight, has been doing fantastically, sitting in second, started 9th. Overall doing pretty good for himself here in the 19.
The 10 of Ryan Doucette is not running a full series. The 19 is, and both those cars are not playoff cars, so they are just running for pride right now. The next two drivers behind them, the 24 of Nick Doucette and the 15 of Emily Howe, those are two playoff cars that are in. Christian Budd now also in the mix as well. Single file restart about to happen here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Green flag flies and the 10 gets a great jump, but the 19 is a little hungry. He wants more. Side by side they go. Nick Doucette on the outside fighting with Ryan Doucette. The Doucettes side by side into turn number 3 and 4. Who's going to walk away with this battle? Right now it's Nick Doucette, and Emily Howe comes along for the ride.
Ali Osmond getting a little bit into the wall twice now. Getting a little bit spooked by the number 10.
And looking behind them, the 17 of Christian Budd is in that mix as well. Getting around both McKissick and Doucette. Ali Osmond has to fight now with the 17 of Christian Budd, who wants to get back into this race and finish what he starting up front. The 30 doing a lot of defensive driving, doing a lot of rear view mirror driving, trying to stop the 17 from getting around him, but I don't think he's going to have a choice now. 17 goes low, 30 forced to go high. They'll be side by side on the backstretch, not quite, but the 17 is going to try crossover this time by. Not going to work. The 30 and 17 still doing business. Now here comes McKissick on the inside. He wants to try to force Budd to go one position back.
Going to be trying to force the issue still too wide. Going to be challenging it into turns 3 and 4. Ali Osmond just barely clearing off the nose of the 17 of Christian Budd. 37 still making a very solid challenge from the bottom end of the track and now getting a run off from the bottom end of the track. We haven't seen that quite a lot. So Christian Budd's pace starting to fall off quite a little bit here, but that might be more of a temporary issue with regards to Ali Osmond choosing to take the top line, not really letting Christian Budd get too much of a run off the top end to get past the 37. And now the 37 is starting to cause a little bit of a problem for 17's progress towards the front.
Both the 37 and 30 working as a roadblock, trying to stop the 17 from advancing. The 17 makes contact with the wall. The wall glue is going to grip him hard. and now he's going to have to fight his way back into that mix once again. Nick Doucette, as we caution flag come out on the field, and I doubt it was for the 17.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where this one come from, but I think it might have been Mo Perry. I do see an event ticker this time. Take a look here. Perry in the number 12. Riding high on the outside.
Outside line. Gets caught in the wall, gets stuck there, and gets run over by, what is that, the 32 of Matt Taylor? The 31 of Ken Huff. I think it's the 32 of, 32 of Taylor runs over the 12 of Mo Perry, and that is going to bring out the caution flag for the 9th time tonight.
Kind of an unfortunate scenario for the 12 to be in, just slamming into the wall, slowing so far down that the 32 had nowhere to go. Just plowed into the back and unfortunately caused that caution here. You can see Peleg on the outside trying to drive by and get possibly the lucky dog here.
So that opens up a very interesting restart here for all of our drivers. The 17 of Bud will restart position number 4. The 30 of Osmond is going to have his best, or Osmond I should say. I keep saying Osmond, but it's Osmond. Ali Osmond about to have his best finish of the season in position number 3 if he can hold on, if he can hold off the 17 of Christian Budd fighting out here on the track. His best Winstel Cup Series finish was 4th at Daytona earlier this year. He could improve it and get a podium tonight, but he's got a lot of drivers he's got to hold off. He's got to hold off the 17 of Budd. He's got to hold off the 37 of McKissick. He's got a lot of talent behind him that he needs to hold on to, and I think he can do it. It's just a matter of what happens in the next 20 so laps that will affect the complexion of this race. Up front, Nick Doucette, Emily Howe, 2 names that are very familiar to our the Winstel viewers out here. They are going to have they're standing to have a great battle between them. 2 competitors who are going to get into the playoffs next week. These drivers know what they're doing, and I think they're going to have a lot of fun going toe-to-toe.
Absolutely, and one other thing that we haven't quite mentioned so far, we mentioned that Tyler Head earlier in the race had a significant issue with regards to a crash that happened earlier in the race, now finds himself in 6th, so might be, more than likely, skipping ahead of Christian Poe in the championship if he stays where he is.
If he stays, all he had to do, all Tyler Head has to do is finish top 10. That's all he needs to work his way into the playoff chase. So if the race were to be called right this second, if the field were to be slowed down, stopped right this second, it would be Tyler Head taking the 10th and final playoff spot of the race, of the series. Now, there's also some other question marks that need to be answered, and we'll have to answer them coming up. That is what happens to Parker Alexander, what happens to Brandon McGee, who came in not 100% qualified or not 100% locked in, but basically had a great advantage coming in. Those are the questions that will need to be answered over the next 20 or so laps.
Wait, Ali Osmond is slow on track for some reason here.
Ali Osmond may have run out of fuel. Ali Osmond may have run out of fuel. It looks like the 30 did not come down pit road with everybody else, and they are running very, very slow. I think we're going to have this caution flag extended to tow the 30 back to pit road as they appear to be completely empty.
Yeah, trying to kickstart it, bump start it, do anything.
Or they might be serving an end-of-line penalty. We'll have to check with race control to find out what happened there.
Yeah, that had to be an end-of-line penalty. Really unfortunate to see. Not exactly totally sure what happened there, but very unfortunate. As we see Sean Peleg, once again, whipping by the pace car.
Sean Peleg will be your lucky dog this time by, so we'll start at the tail end of the lead line. Lights remain on the pace car, so we at least have 2 more to go before we're back to green flag racing. When we go back to green flag racing, it'll be 21 to go. It'll be the 24 of Nick Doucette leading, Emily Howe second, Christian Budd in third. Christian Budd is all but locked up the regular season championship, not only with leading the most laps and leading a lap, but by finishing third, he's got it. All he's got to do is finish the race now, and he will be your regular season champion. Brandon McKissick in fourth, and I believe that is Tyler Head rounding out the top 5. Yes, it is. So Tyler Head now in great position to steal that 10th and final spot. So let's start off on the pace car this time. It'll be the last parade lap around this very short track. Only a half mile from start to finish when we go racing, when they run these parade laps. So these parade laps will go quick. I guarantee you the next 21 laps will be the fastest of the race, possibly the fastest of all season, as you ride on board the 15 of Emily Howe, running that Michael Waltrip paint scheme when Michael Waltrip was racing at DEI. We'll follow along with her as we get ready to go green flag racing. We'll see how the 24 reacts. When the 24 comes to the green flag, the entire field will be at his start when we go green flag races. 24, Nick Doucette sees green, and we are back to racing here. No, they're going to call it off.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to get the field a little organized. I think Ali Osman's underline penalty might have got some people jostled around just a little bit.
But the lights are off, so we should just have one more lap of pacing before we go back. So it'll be 20 laps. 20 lap dash to the green flag. So looks like everyone's going to get stacked up one more time, and barring any other incidents, we'll be going green flag racing with Nick Doucette, your leader, only one of 3 cars to lead a lap here at the Last Great Coliseum on the border of Tennessee and Virginia. Nick Doucette back in charge of the field. Green flag will fly? Yes, no. No, they're still having some problems getting everyone organized.
Yeah, I think the tail end of the field just isn't bunching up properly, is my guess. I'm looking around, and I'm not really seeing a whole lot that's going around towards the front.
Our scoring ticker shows green flag, so I'm not exactly sure what's happening. I guess they're going to go green flag next time.
Yeah, I think the pace car might have bugged out or something like that, but we should be going green this time around.
Can we get somebody to check on the welfare of the pace car driver? Can we make sure they're okay? Nick Doucette will get it this time by. We are now officially back to green flag racing as a 24 immediately under fire from the 4, the 15, and the 17 of Bud, all in the middle of the mix, trying to get around to the 24 of Doucette. Call it a redemption year for him. He's now had a couple of wins on the season and wants to add one more here at Bristol. Time is running out. If you're the rest of the field, you've got to get around the 24, and you've got to get around fast if you want to win this race.
17 of Christian Budd now in third place. Started this race in first. 37 of Brandon McKissick going on the inside, trying to make the pass. Going to have a bit of a run for Christian Budd on the outside, but 37 is not going to be able to get close enough, have enough momentum through the beginning of the turn to try and make it side by side, so that challenge isn't going to last very long. But Emily Howe still trying to chase down number 24 of the Nicholas Doucette there, as 37 once again challenges Christian Budd. Not going to quite get it done. Certainly peaking, but not able to get the momentum through the middle of the corner, as we have a yellow flag once again with a couple cars going the wrong way.
The 30 of Osman. Great run all night long. And now is going to have this heavy smoke pouring out of the 30. That's going to be the 30's night. They are going to be done, it looks like, at this point with that heavy smoke pouring out. Tough break for the 30. Ali Osman been running strong all night long. Let's see exactly what happened to cause the 30 to get out of the race.
We're seeing the 30 here racing with Peleg and the 29. The 23 goes low. Oh no! Oh, that'll do something.
And the 12 of Mo Perry getting sideways. Then that just collects to the 48 of Sean Peleg and the 30 of Osman. And that is going to call it a night for them. And I think it starts with the 23. The 23 collects the 12. Oh, no, the 12 gotten into the 23 and causes them to spin. The 32 will get in the back of the 12. The chain reaction continues. And as the 12 makes heavy contact with that safer barrier, goes back up into the track. Jose Solis not able to avoid it, just nicks the 12 into the path of the 30 and 48, and I think several cars will be done after that incident.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate for Ali Osman getting that end-of-line penalty. If not for that penalty, Ali would have still been in the front end of the field and would have completely avoided that very unfortunate turn of events for Ali. You got to feel for him. Never would have been involved in that incident without that end-of-line penalty, but now suffering the consequences. That is the nature of Bristol. If you don't have that track position, that's kind of the risk you run. And unfortunately paying the price. But as we take a look at the front end of the field, still unchanged. Nick Doucette, followed by Emily Howe in second, and then Christian Budd in third, trying to capture that win from the pole, from pole sitter to the win, having had some issues on one of the starts earlier today. And Brandon McKissick and Tyler Head rounding out your top 5.
Ali Osman. I don't know why. You know what? You know why? Because there's a famous actor.
Yep, Emily Osman. Yep.
As the Osman family.
I had a suspicion. That's what it was.
Stuck in my head. So my apologies to Ali Osman, because that for some reason I hear the Osman name and that's what gets stuck in my head first and foremost. Not outing myself as a Hannah Montana fan, but you know, millennial. What can I say?
You get the best of both worlds.
Don't I know it? Pace car lights remain on. We should have another lap and a half of pacing. We're back to green flag racing, the 24, the 15, the 17, your top 3. And it should be a very interesting battle with 5 laps to go once we get back to green flag racing. Nick Doucette, again, on a redemption year this season. Nick Doucette has already has 1 win, wants to make it 2 on this season. Big win for him earlier this year. Now he's got a chance to add to that and gain some big momentum going into the playoffs. Looks like Emily Howe and Christian Budd want to play spoiler. Christian Budd already your regular season champion. Now just a matter of can he put the cherry on top and win this race as well. Add to his 3 wins, the only 3-win driver on the field. Can he make it 4 before the race goes over? Tyler Head now in 5th. If he holds on to the next 5 laps, he will be the 10th driver into the playoffs. Green flag flies officially this time, and the 24 and 5 go nose to tail into turns 1 and 2. And look who's challenging. The 37 of Brandon McKissick has a shot at making way 3rd from the 17 of Christian Budd. Budd not budging, though. He's going to continue to run that high side, see if he can get some momentum on the 37.
Yeah, the 37 challenging on the inside, finally having a little bit of better luck on that inside line, getting a nice amount of momentum, getting that nose poking in front of Christian Budd, which was what he was struggling with earlier before the last caution flag. The number 15 of Emily Howe just in front of him. He could see the goal. He could see the 24 of Nicholas Doucette just through the front windshield. If he could just get clear of Christian Budd, that can be one of many objectives on the way towards the win. But as you can see, Christian Budd not slouching, fighting back for everything it's got, just trying to get as much momentum as he can build off the outside line.
The 17 and 37 make contact coming off of turn number 2, and that might be what the 17 needs to get in front of the 37 of McKissick. Clean racing between the 2 of them. White flag flies, 1 to go at this juncture. Next flag will end the race. Doucette has a big run over Emily Howe and the 17, still making contact with the 34 through turns 3 and 4. Nick Doucette has the clear lane. He will be your winner at Bristol as he gets sideways now to celebrate. Emily Howe in 2nd, and I believe that will be Christian Budd in 3rd.
Yeah, that'll be Christian Budd grabbing 3rd position as Emily and Nick have a little bit of a celebration together, a little bit of a hug if you could. And Nick Doucette now going to celebrate on the front stretch of Bristol on the straightaway, I would assume. But yeah, that was a really valiant effort from Brandon McKissick, but just barely getting edged out by Christian Budd on the start-finish. That outside line just barely paying off with the momentum coming off.
Nick Doucette, you're about ready to burn it down here in Bristol. His 2nd win of the 2024 campaign, throwing it back to the 2004 Nextel Cup Series. Nick Doucette, your winner at Bristol Motor Speedway, takes the last race of the regular season, but not to be done. Christian Budd was here was the regular season champion, and Tyler Head will take away the 10th and final transfer spot into the playoffs. So much drama happening on the track. What an incredible race. What an incredible season ender. You couldn't ask for a better finish.
Absolutely not. It was a very eventful race with a bunch of spills and thrills, and Nick Doucette comes out on top in the number 24 DuPont machine. It was a valiantly fought effort from Christian Budd, having a very rough start on one of these yellow flag runs. I've been saying it all night because of just how much he charged back towards the front. It was within his grasp, not enough time to be able to actually make up that position back to first, but still having a fantastic finish, finishing in third. A really great job from Christian Budd, but also from Brandon McKissick being able to challenge for that third position, just barely getting nipped out. And Emily Howe kind of almost seemed a little bit almost unnoticed throughout the race, just kind of silently slipping her way through the field as she does to get second place. It was overall a very enjoyable race, a very fun race to watch.
Let's talk to your podium finishers, starting with a driver of that number 24 machine, Nick Doucette. Nick, the redemption season continues. Second win of the season. No better place to get it than the Coliseum.
I'm going to just backtrack a little bit to let you all in on a little bit of how my day has gone today. I won't try to take up too much of your time, but I really do believe that this has been the redemption tour, not just for Winstel, but also for my real life racing career. I drive a 4-cylinder Chevy Cobalt at my local short track, and I have yet to win a feature race for 4 years. My last feature win would have been August 2nd, 2020. And yes, I do know that because I looked at the trophy 2 days ago. But today we went and raced at the racetrack, and I was feeling pretty good about how things were going to be. And first heat race, about 5 laps into the race, I'm side by side with for the lead, and I get dude on my inside doors me, destroys my car. Left front control arm, right front control arm, left front knuckle, and the radiator all were gone.
Oh.
And out of sheer, pure luck, my family, friends, everyone jumped in, helped put the car back together in one piece. We didn't even think we were gonna get it back out on the track at all for the rest of the day, but we got it ready with 5 minutes left to go before the feature, and I went out there and I won the feature race. So that was my first feature win at my local short track in 4 years. So I'm already on a high. I'm already in the chase for Winstel. Tonight really didn't matter that much when it comes to points in that kind of situation. I'm just here for fun. I've always loved Bristol, and so to win Bristol and get win 2 on the season is quite cool as well. But just the way that today is shaped out, it's been pretty awesome. It almost makes me wonder what bad thing is going to happen to me soon.
Buy a lottery ticket now is my advice for you, because things are definitely looking up. Let me ask you this question. You do this in real life. I know the Cobalt you run is a lot different than these 700 horsepower virtual machines you run here in Winstel, but how much of that real life experience do you bring to this to the virtual world, and how much of that has aided in your comeback season?
Honestly, I don't really know how to answer that question, because I would almost say that sim racing has helped my real life competition. I've been sim racing since I was 9 years old, and I'm 22 now, so it's been quite a while. I'm not even going to try to do the math because I'm stupid, but it's been quite a while that I've been sim racing. And when I started real life racing 6 years ago, a lot of people were, worried, especially, my parents. They were worried that I was not going to be aware of what was going on around me. And if there's anyone that is listening tonight that has plans on becoming, a real life racer at some point in time, iRacing, believe it or not, does actually give you a lot of skills and knowledge to be able to do that stuff. It gives you that spatial awareness that you get the feeling from underneath, from under the driver's seat, to really know what your car is doing. But the biggest thing that I was able to transfer from sim racing to real life was that whole spatial awareness situation of knowing what's going on around you, what's going on in your mirror, what's going on from the left to the right inside of you. And I don't have any spotters in real life, so I'm really reliant on, that knowing of what's going all around you.
So next week we start the 8-race chase for the Winstel Cup. With tonight's win, you've taken a lot of momentum into New Hampshire next week. What can we expect in the chase from you and the 24 team?
I'm just going to keep testing. I try my best to join the setup development servers, and those really do help out. They give me an idea on what Sunday's going to feel like, and I mean, New Hampshire's kind of been hit or miss for me. I either feel like I do really good there, or I just flat out suck. I don't really particularly like the flat short tracks, but in recent years I feel like I've kind of gotten an understanding for New Hampshire, so as long as I don't burn the right rear tire off, I hope that I can at least get a good points day.
Nick, who makes it work for you and the team?
Everyone over at Winstel, all the admins, all the officiating crew, the setup developers, all of us that go into the sessions to really get us a great setup to put on a great race. But at the end of the day, it comes down to Emily. She knows what exactly is needed to put on a great race here in Winstel. Obviously, you guys here in the booth for putting on a great show for all the viewers. And I know for a fact he's not watching tonight because he just got off work, but I will give Ryan Kame a shout out because I do whenever I'm up here. So hi Ryan, hope you see this.
Nick Doucette, your winner, taking away his second trophy at Bristol. Emily Waltrip finishing second tonight, and Andy, you know just as well, Emily's always a threat anytime you're at an oval track, and Emily, it came true tonight. Second place, can't sneeze at that.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much better than I would have ever expected coming into tonight. Tonight was really all about trying to just get out of the regular season without any incidents and not having to carry over anything into the chase since we were already locked in. So pretty much, couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, I didn't have it for Nick there at the end. Those two tires just really weren't going to move anywhere forward, but the track just really paid off for me.
Your team does a great job of setups. We've said this a million times before here on ABN. E83 Flying Machines, one of the best in the community. But talk to us about this setup tonight. It was racy for everybody all night long. Everybody seemed to enjoy running it up and down through the field. What made the setup so special tonight?
Really, I mean, it's just a weird combination, Bristol, because it's so highline dominant. So a lot of compromises had to be made to make it to where the bottom groove was at least usable. And I think we kind of managed to get that with the setup combination that we ran tonight, to where you saw the bottom was really, really fast, especially that first run until it rubbered up. And then kind of throughout the night, if you ran the bottom, you saved tires and you kind of moved forward again. So really fun to kind of move in, come and go throughout the field and be able to use the whole track. But it's a tough joint here.
Definitely a tough joint, but you guys made the most of it. You made it work. Emily, next week starts the chase. I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked the 24. What can we expect from you and the 15 team?
Pretty much the same thing we did all season, right? I mean, I don't think we're really competing for wins necessarily here at the EI, at least this side of the EI shop. I know the H shop has really put on a stellar performance all year, and but the 1 in 15 side of the shop are kind of a top 10, top 5 team. So I guess my biggest thing is just not trying to overextend myself, not trying to push, not get myself in the dumb situation. I think it's kind of been my strength all year. It's just keeping it clean and not overextending myself and getting myself into trouble.
Emily, who makes it work for you in the 15 team?
The man of the box, Slugger Labby, makes some really good calls all season long. Keeps us, gaining traction just when we can, keeping us on the right side of the strategy all night.
Emily Howe finishing second tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway, a lock for your playoffs starting next week. Christian Budd finishing third tonight, looking for his fourth win, but nonetheless, you didn't get the fourth win tonight, but you got the regular season championship. So, a matter of compromise, but I think you came out on top of that one.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would have liked to have won, but unfortunately, I kind of made a big mistake in the middle of the race and left it in fourth gear on a restart and almost got run over and almost caused a massive wreck, but I got lucky that didn't happen. Then I kind of lost a little bit of track position there. I don't know that it necessarily cost me the race in the sense, because when the opportunity came to pit, I would probably have taken it the same way I did. I was trying to kind of get a little off on the fuel strategy, wanted to be up front at the end. unfortunately, the way the yellows fell, it didn't quite work out, and then I had to pit again. So I was able to come back. Pretty proud of the result. It was a good race. I thought, given all the issues that Bristol has on iRacing and how top line dominant it is and everything, I thought the setup was about as good as we could ask for. And the race was fun. I mean, there were some yellows, but that's Bristol, and we expect some of that. And, we had some longer greens there, which were fun. And overall, I was pretty happy with how everything went.
You finished tonight's race in third, but like I mentioned, you are the regular season champion. You will walk into the playoffs as the number one guy that everyone's looking to beat. Does that put a target on you? Does that make you nervous, or are you excited that you're carrying a lot of momentum into the playoffs?
It's definitely, I'd rather be there than 10th, right? But, as far as who's a favorite or anything like that, there's just, everybody in this top 10 is talented. Everybody in this top 10 can or has won races. So it's really going to be anybody's game. It's a matter of executing, not making mistakes, kind of like I did tonight, not making those kind of mistakes, capitalizing, getting all the points that you can, and performing at every type of racetrack. So, I'd like to think that, my chances are good, but it's really just comes down to making sure I put together full races.
I've asked everyone else this question. I'm going to ask you the same thing. What can we expect from the 17 over the next 8 races?
My strengths this year have really been the 1.5 miles and the 2 mile stuff. So really, hoping places like, Kansas and Atlanta, are going to be strong places for us. But also got to, perform on some of the tracks that, maybe aren't my best, like New Hampshire coming up this next week. I really like Dover. I really like most of the tracks on the schedule. You got to get through Talladega, which is, always a little bit of luck and circumstance that goes into that. But I think, like I said, I think I got as good a chance as anybody.
Christian, who makes it work for you in the 17 team?
Just everybody here at Winstel. A lot of work going into these races. I want to thank Tyler Head for all the graphical work that he's been doing, that you guys have been putting to really good use. It's a lot of time and effort on his part, and I really appreciate that. It just really brings together the feel. All the commentary and broadcasting you guys have been doing has been great. Makes these races a lot of fun to watch, and all the fans who are watching and tuning in every week, I really appreciate them. And then all the drivers who have been showing up. These races don't go when the drivers don't show up. So everybody showing up and putting in their time and running hard makes it a lot of fun.
Christian Budd walks away with a third place finish. Will take the trophy as your regular season champion. So, Amity, let's go ahead and go through your final order, the unofficial standings for tonight's race at Bristol Motor Speedway, ending the regular season for the Winstel Cup Series. Nick Doucette, your winner. Emily Howe in second. Christian Budd third. Brandon McKissick and Tyler Head round out your top 5. With that 5th place finish, Tyler Head is the 10th and final entrant into the chase for the Winstel Cup. Gabriel Mauricio, the driver who won the opening race, will finish 6th. Mike Rasmus 7th. Ryan Hill 8th. Dylan Roberts 9th. And Kyle Benson round out your top 10. Brendan McGee's 11th. Jonathan Hernandez 12th. Evan Locke 13th. Chris Champeau loses out of a playoff spot in 14th. Anthony Kroback finishes 15th. Corey Cook, Ryan Doucette, Steve Brown, Parker Alexander, and Brandon Cruz, your top 20.
And in 21st, Philip Snipes finishes about 4 seconds behind the leader, with Craig Lautenslager, we saw involved in an early incident towards the beginning of the race, finishing in 22nd. Matt Taylor in 23rd. Tyler Murray in the 33, finishing 24th. Ken Huff in the 31, finishing 25th. Rory Collins in 26th. Sean Peleg, Morpheus Perry, Jose Solis, and Ali Osman finishing out your 30. And we're starting to get into the lapped cars towards the back half. Cars who did not finish, we got Justin Howe, Jacob Potak, and Corey Steinhauser rounding out the back end of the field, unfortunately unable to complete this race.
So the regular season is over for the Winstel Cup Series. For the next 8 races, your top 10 drivers will compete to call themselves champion of the 2024 campaign, throwing back to the 2004 Nextel Cup Series. Who will be champion? Who will we be crowning at the end of that? You'll have to stay tuned to find out. That concludes our coverage of the Winstel Cup Series here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Congratulations once again to Nick Doucette, your winner here at Bristol. On behalf of our entire broadcast crew, my partner and producer, Amity Bolsatrix, my name is Joe Cortez. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time when we go racing once again with the Winstel Cup Series next Sunday evening, 7:45 Eastern, 4:45 Pacific. Until then, good night, everybody.